In today's video, we are recapping the thrilling sports romance film Challenger, receiving an impressive 7.5 rating on IMDb. The plot revolves around Tashi, a former tennis prodigy turned coach who trains her husband, a champion, on a losing streak. In a surprising turn of events, her husband must compete in a challenger event against Tashi's former boyfriend. Stay tuned and watch our full recap. Please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and thank you for watching. This sports romance movie starts with the New Rochelle Challenger Championship, where Patrick Zweig and Art Donaldson face off in the final. Tashi Donaldson closely observes their game. 2 weeks earlier, we see Art preparing for his upcoming match. His wife, Tashi, who is also his coach, seems uptight and strict. After their practice session, she instructs him on defeating his opponent. Art is more of a quiet person who doesn't say much and follows Tashi's lead. Conversely, Tashi seems to suffocate Art and constantly criticizes him for underperforming, even withdrawing him from a championship without his consent due to a poor return from injury. Even though he wants to spend a bit with his wife, Tashi can talk all about tennis. She takes Art out of Cincinnati and plans to put him in a challenger in Rochelle as a last-minute wild card. A few days later, Patrick, who is also a tennis player, arrives to participate in the challenger. He isn't as well known as Art and seems to have a hyper and carefree personality. 13 years ago, Art and Patrick were formidable teams, winning numerous games and sharing a strong bond. Tashi is a rising star who won the Junior Australian Open. Both Patrick and Art have a crush on her. The three of them meet at a party where Tashi knows them as Fire and Ice, with Patrick embodying the fire and Art the ice. This shared history and mutual admiration lay the foundation for their present-day interactions. Later, the three of them go to the beach, and Patrick doesn't understand why Tashi is going to Stanford to study, abandoning her pro tennis career for now. But Tashi explains to Patrick that tennis is like a relationship. When you play with an opponent, you understand each other very well, creating a feeling similar to being in love. While Tashi is leaving, both Patrick and Art ask for her number, indicating their interest in starting an open relationship with her. The strange part is that Tashi comes to their room later after Patrick invites her to come and spend time with them. They talked about their childhood and how Patrick and Art have been friends for life, as they also went to the same boarding school. The three of them start to make out, and gradually, Art and Patrick kiss each other, forgetting about Tashi. So obviously, something unusual is going on that they are not saying to Tashi. They still want her number. So Tashi tells them whoever will win tomorrow's match will get her number. The following day, Patrick wins the match, and in the present day, Patrick also wins the first set, defeating Art in the New Rochelle Challenger. Patrick met with Tashi a few days earlier in a hotel as they come for Art, who will be playing in the challenger. Tashi seems to have entered Art into the tournament to humiliate him, and both Tashi and Patrick seem to know it. However, she tells Patrick to stay away from them so that Art doesn't think involving Patrick in the challenger is part of Tashi's plan. 12 years earlier, while Tashi was practicing, Art came to meet with her. While having lunch, Art tells her that he's surprised she's still dating Patrick, as he doesn't believe Patrick is in love with her. Later, while meeting with Patrick, Art mentions that he feels Tashi isn't taking their relationship as seriously as Patrick is. Patrick understands the game that Art is trying to play. He thinks he might have done the exact same thing if he had been in Art's place. Besides, they seem to have some kind of unusual bond that is much more than just being friends. Later, while getting intimate, Tashi still talks about tennis and how Patrick could win the third set. She also compares him to Art, who plays better than him. Tashi always wants to give people advice and coach, thinking she knows the best and everyone sucks at their game. But Patrick loses his sanity and tells her that he can't be her lapdog, doing whatever she says like Art, and then he leaves the room. She wants someone who will worship her and just follow her advice blindly without arguing. Tashi comes to play her match, and she sees Art alone in the gallery, as Patrick didn't come because of their fight. Amid the game, Tashi sustains a severe knee injury and is unable to continue playing. However, when Patrick comes to check on her, both Tashi and Art yell at him to leave. As she's recovering, Art starts to practice with her. She becomes frustrated with him for taking it easy on her due to her injury and insists that he play to win. Shortly after, Her determination to play aggressively leads to another injury, ultimately ending her career as a tennis player. 3 years later, Tashi started working as a tennis coach, and Art told her to be his assistant coach. He also tells her that he's proud of her for not giving up after the significant downfall. They kiss passionately, indicating that they will start dating from now on. Returning to the present day, Art wins the second set against Patrick. But earlier this week, Patrick met her again and told Tashi to become his coach. He attempts to manipulate her by saying that even if Art wins the Open and completes his career Grand Slam, he will still retire soon. So she should give her focus on Patrick to bring him out so that he can win the Slam. Besides, he still has a season left. But hearing that, Tashi slaps him hard and tells him just to quit. Patrick tells Tashi that he knows she hates Art because he can sense his own readiness to give up at any time, but he won't because he does whatever Tashi wants, and Art has no value in Tashi's life if he's not playing tennis. While going back, Patrick writes his number on a note in case she changes her mind about coaching him. Even though she says she won't, she still takes the note and puts it in her pocket. Third set begins. The day before the final match, Patrick meets Art in a sauna and jokingly tells him not to demolish him in the final. He also doesn't understand why he is angry at him and is positive about the fact that it is not because of Patrick's former relationship with Tashi. But it is kind of disturbing for Art. 3 years earlier, during the Atlanta Open, Patrick meets Tashi and sees she's already engaged with Art. But he says he misses her and begins to kiss each other. Art doesn't know that Tashi has cheated on him while being engaged, but he sees them together, which they don't know. But in the sauna, Art also tells him it's embarrassing to see him in Challenger right now as he ranks lowest as a tennis player. Even though he has never beaten Patrick in the game, he has defeated numerous other players and won countless games, so Patrick should talk to him while thinking about his position. But Patrick appears to be hurt by his words because he yearns for the concealed relationship they shared in the past, and now they are completely disconnected from one another. At night, Art wants Tashi to tell him that she will love him no matter what, even if he loses the final game tomorrow. But Tashi can't do that because she's not Jesus Christ. Besides, he has to win tomorrow, but Art tells her that he's going to retire this year, whether he wins an Open or not. He knows that he's playing for both of them. As Tashi can't play anymore, she uses people to fulfill her dreams, so she tells Art she will leave him if he can't win tomorrow. They both cried because neither of them was getting what they wanted in life, and it was breaking them from the inside. At midnight, Tashi texts Patrick to meet her. They meet in the car, and Tashi tells Patrick she wants him to lose tomorrow because Art is performing well and ready to take a shot at the championship. Winning tomorrow would boost his confidence and prove he can also do well later. Hearing that, Patrick gets angry and tells Tashi, a loser who's using others to complete her aims, that she is actually here to get intimate with Patrick but will never admit it. Even though Art eventually did well in the final, Patrick started to rise. Tashi signed him not to win, and Art saw that in the middle of the game. But last night, Patrick told her he'd listen to her and lose tomorrow's match. After an intense fight, Tashi gets out of the car, but she returns again and makes out with him in the parking lot. She also sleeps with him in the car. She tells Patrick that he must make Art feel he has earned it. But when she returns to the hotel room, Tashi doesn't see Art and finds him sleeping with their daughter in her bedroom. Although Art knows everything about Tashi, he still wants to stay with her. Back in the final, Art gets match points because Patrick's ball hits the net twice but never goes to his opponent's box. He intentionally did this to let Art win the match. Even though he hesitated to fulfill his promise, he still made more mistakes so that Art could earn additional points to win. After taking a bit of time, he served just like Art to make him understand that he had slept with Tashi. Actually, it is an old thing of theirs. When Patrick was dating Tashi, Art made him show the sign whenever he got intimate with Tashi. That way, he'd understand. Patrick doesn't have to tell him directly. Understanding the situation, Art stops playing while he's still processing the news. Eventually, the final set results in a tiebreak. As they start the game again, Patrick and Art smile at each other and play as if they're feeling each other. They are in love, just like Tashi told them before. The movie ends with Art hitting the last ball, but Patrick hugs him to prevent Art from losing control. They never mention who won the match. Also, the game is not over despite the movie ending. However, it confirms that nothing could affect their bond despite their detachment for years following Tashi's twisted activities.